Hey everyone, thanks for checking out today's broadcast. It is day 339 of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. This is your first time checking out one of my broadcasts. Just a little bit about me. 39 years old, married, we have 4 children, and I've been overweight my whole life. And last year I decided that it was time that I needed to do something about it. And that's why I created this challenge. Over the years, I've found different ways to lose weight, and I've had success with losing weight, but I've never had success with maintaining the weight loss or keeping the weight off. And that was the big focus about this challenge. And to do that, uh, there were the two big parts of it is that I knew I needed to focus on or do something for a longer period of time than I'd ever done it before. And that's why I decided to uh, do a 3-year challenge. I've had success losing weight. In the short term, I could lose weight, over a few months or, maybe even half a year or sometimes a little bit longer. But I was never able to continue with either the weight loss or at least maintaining the weight that I had been able to lose. And I felt like a lot of that was just me kind of giving up or allowing the old kind of habits to creep in too soon. So that's why I chose to do this for 3 years. The other is that I have a lot of weight to lose, and I knew that I needed to commit to losing all of it, not just most of it or some of it. And starting at 519 pounds, I knew that if I lost 300 pounds, that would get me down to about 220 pounds, which would put me in for my height, kind of puts me in the overweight category. It gets me out of the obese category. And that would be somewhere I've never been. And like I said, in the past, I've had success losing weight. And while it's great to kind of hit those goals, you're still kind of, uh, not to the end yet. Like I had lost over 100 pounds 10 years ago and got down to just under 300 pounds. And it felt great. And I had hit my goal to kind of get under 300, but I was still 285 pounds, which is still really overweight and not a healthy weight to be at by any means. So, that is what my challenge is. If anybody has any non-scale victories they'd like to share, have any questions about my diet or anything like that, I would love to, hear those as well. The diet that we have been doing was not the diet that we initially planned on going on. I didn't have a great plan going in. I just knew that I wanted to lose weight and that I was going to do an extended water fast. And while doing that water fast, that is when I kind of discovered a whole food plant-based diet. It was kind of always there. I just never took it as a legitimate possibility. And now that we've been doing this for about 10 months, I couldn't imagine eating a different way. It has caused an incredible improvement in both my life and my wife Carrie's life. Um, yeah, since yesterday, really not a whole lot going on, kind of in the grind of all of this. I've talked about that in the past, that there's just some days where, there's not much for me to talk about, not much going on because, it's just another day. There's nothing special about day 339, other than continues to be the longest I've ever gone while sticking to a way of eating or a diet plan or whatever you want to call what I'm doing, my commitment to my weight loss. So, so there's not a lot going on, with our diet. We're pretty set with our diet. Really, the best part about our diet is some of the foods we have. And last night was an example of one of my favorite foods. Carrie makes a chickpea tikka masala. that I it's just an incredibly satisfying meal. It's one of our go-tos, and uh it's just funny thing because it's one of the things we got one of our daughters to try some of it yesterday, and she would absolutely eat it. And I think that it is a meal that more people would eat than just people that eat our diet or that are eating a whole food plant-based diet. It has a lot of flavor to it, and it's just extremely enjoyable. In fact, it's one of those things where Carrie makes a certain amount of it, and then she's offering it to the kids, and I want to be like, no, don't. The kids don't want any of it because then it takes away from me. Not that they eat more than a spoonful of it, anyways, when they do try the meals, but it is definitely one of my favorite meals, and one of the things that is from the outside. I try to look at things from outside of my perspective now. But when you look at our way of eating or the way we eat, when you say, you eat a whole food plant-based diet, which means you don't have any animal products, you don't have any dairy, you don't have any eggs, and that alone is very restrictive, and people are just kind of like, oh, that seems crazy. And then we go even further and we restrict the amount of salt, oil, and sugar that we eat as well. And people really look at it as like, that's a crazy diet, it's unsustainable, it's not anything that you can do. And we're really finding the opposite as far as the sustainability. Uh I absolutely am amazed every day at the amount of food that I'm able to eat and still am finding success on with the scale. The it's an incredible amount of food. Like it's the toughest part for me to explain, and because it just doesn't make sense in the way that we've thought about food in the past, because a lot of times we think of the foods that we're eating are very high in calorie density, per volume. And it's it's just a different way to, I think about eating as, we're going to eat X amount of food a day, and we want to try not to let that amount of food get too high of an average in calories, the overall um calories, the calorie density of the meals. And so uh that seems crazy. It's counterintuitive to be eating more but still losing weight. It's because, like I said, the food is lower in calorie density. And but from the outside, so looking at our diet, you wouldn't think that there's much you could eat, but that meal we had last night, like I said, is something that I would recommend anybody try. I think most people would find that they would tolerate it, they would like it. There's obviously some preferences that people have, and you can make modifications to those preferences. Uh, but overall, I was worried that we weren't going to have meals, and it's not the case at all. It's more that we have a lot of meals that we really enjoy, and I wish we could have them all, but it's tough to pick and choose and keep the ingredients for everything that is a winner, and some of the simpler things just kind of win out, like the Spanish rice and beans, the uh incredibly easy to make. We have the ingredients for other things, and I would not have. I don't know if it's because of the limitations that when we have these things, they taste so good, and they seem so spicy. Like Carrie had made a meal she normally makes, the it's called Mega Veggie Chili is what it's called. And she didn't have jalapenos, which is normally in it, but she put Rotel tomatoes in it, completely ramped up the spiciness of the dish and improved it. And I didn't even notice that it was kind of missing, the jalapeno, and uh it's just it's great to have the variety and the just the overall diet is not what it looks like from the outside, because I don't even know what it looks like from the outside anymore. And that's kind of even a tougher part about this, is that uh I I never would have expected to be feeling the way feel about this diet, or just feeling the way I feel in general, like overall. And I attribute those good feelings to this diet. But I, I keep talking about how I never took it serious as a real diet, or that I never understood what it meant, or what that there would be, because the previously I would have thought of if I thought about somebody told me they were on this diet, I would assume that their diet would have lots of things like broccoli and romaine lettuce and tomatoes, I guess, but and that's we have tomatoes in a lot of things, but I keep kicking something under my desk. I need to move it. But uh I don't hardly ever eat like iceberg lettuce, I guess is more what I was thinking, like what you get like on a salad from a restaurant. And I don't hardly ever eat that, and we don't hardly eat broccoli. Um, we eat a lot more rice and beans, and the chickpeas and the quinoas and potatoes. Those are big parts of our diet, and not the kind of what I traditionally thought of as what a vegan person ate. And I guess the big part about like why I'm going on about it is it's just so much more satisfying than you would ever imagine, and it's worth giving a shot. That's the biggest thing that I can say, is that um you can sit there and say you've tried everything, but if I don't know, I sat there and I used to say I tried everything, or I have tried everything, or I'm uh but I hadn't even given this a shot. And I hadn't even given like that. You can eat a vegan diet, you can eat a whole food plant-based diet, you can eat a raw diet, you can eat a fruit diet. Like there's a whole array of different types of diets, even within this uh broader way of eating, that I never took serious, never considered, uh, and just was silly, and it's still silly, because I it does it it's one of those things that I have a hard time wrapping my head around, like how wrong I thought is really what I have the hardest time with. And how uh, I see all this evidence about different beings being built to eat different things. And I just see so much evidence that says that we're built like other herbivores. And that's really been the uh the biggest, I don't know, one of the biggest things that's helped me mentally with sticking to this type of diet is watching, there's a long video from Milton Mills, which is the one I would really have to say breaks it down the best. But I feel like this diet that I'm eating is as closely matched to the diet that people would have eaten 15, 20,000 years ago. It's probably closer to the diet that people ate 500 years ago. Really, I mean, because we wouldn't have had access to sugar, we wouldn't have had access to oil at all. Like we might, I mean, you might have had like the oil from fat of an animal, but the you know there wasn't an abundance of animals prior to recent times. Like uh it wasn't like there were just herds of chickens running around and everybody had chicken every day. Like you had chickens that you would eat their eggs, I suppose, but you wouldn't eat the chicken every day. And it's we just got so far from that, or I got so far from what I feel like I would have naturally been able to acquire in the wild. And especially at 520 pounds. Like 520 pounds, if everything goes dark, like, and I have to start providing for myself, or, you take that 520-pound me and drop me in the woods 10,000 years ago, and I'm dead in soon, like hours or day, like I'm not surviving out in the wilderness. And I feel like even at the weight I'm at now, I wouldn't be catching anything, I mean, the yeah. And we don't have, like I have the ability or the knowledge to build tools, but that's not an inherent knowledge, And so that's why I feel like this diet has gets me closest to what I would have been able to eat on my own. I wouldn't have the variety. Obviously you're not going to have oranges and bananas and apples and everything growing next to each other and potatoes, but um if I had to eat an all potato diet or a mostly rice diet, I think that I could eat that and survive, uh and get, figure out the other nutrients the best you can, but who knows? I've been really on this kick about being an herbivore, and that's really what I think. Like I said, that's they've told us for years and years we're omnivores, and I don't know that the evidence is there that we're supposed to be omnivores. I mean, there's absolutely evidence, or we can eat whatever we put in our mouths, and our bodies will take nutrients from whatever we put in our mouths. But uh I think that it prefers plant food over animal food. And if I have the ability to give my body what it prefers all of the time, then why not give it the better fuel? I mean, if you have a race car and you want to put 100 octane fuel in it, or you're supposed to put 100 octane fuel in it, then you're going to put 100 octane fuel in it all the time. You're not going to settle for lesser grade fuel, even though that lesser grade fuel will still burn. It leaves residuals that over time build up and cause issues, And so as an herbivore, eating plants is our, preferred choice of food. Is what our body processes the best. If we're given both, animal product and meat product, from what I understand, is we use the energy. I'm sorry, if we eat a plant-based meal and a meat-based meal, if we were to eat it all together, our body would use the energy from the plant-based meal first and store the animal. But, maybe I'm wrong, but anyways, I just had been thinking about that and how I'm enjoying the breakfasts we have. I'm enjoying the dinners we're having. I'm not ever disappointed in the meals, which is weird. Like, I can remember um being on diets in the past and having meals that we would eat that I would just, lament the thought that we were having, oh, we're eating that again tonight. All right, that's part of the diet. I'll eat it. And even the meals that are not my favorite meals, I still enjoy immensely. And like there's that mega veggie chili. Carrie seems to think that I don't like that, and I might not like it as much as other meals that we have. I still enjoy it a lot, and it's a drier meal than we normally have. And I have little, I feel like, food quirks, like I would rather eat warm food than cold food sometimes, or the most times, and funny, it's all the foods I'm thinking about are foods I can't eat anymore. Like a cold pizza, I never liked cold pizza. Cold chicken, I never liked cold chicken. I'd rather have it heated up. And the same with like uh the consistency. I'd rather have things be a thicker kind of uh I don't know, different consistency than what the mega veggie chili is generally. Now, we had it with the Rotel tomatoes the other day. It was perfect. So I loved everything about it. Uh anyways, I'm just kind of rambling today. Like I said, I don't have much else to talk about. Uh Yesterday I was kind of talking about trying to find things to do. Today I'm finding that I have not enough time for all of the commitments I have. So I'm definitely going to be busy over the next few days. That was a bit of a lull, I suppose, or just kind of I had a day to relax, and now everything's back to being crazy. We have an event Thursday I talked about. Then I have something Saturday as well that we're going to be dealing with. That kind of makes things busy for me. I'm still hoping to do my Saturday's feast. I just got to figure out the timing of it. I might do that and then do the running I have to do on Saturday. I will go live again tomorrow. I won't be on Thursday. I'll be live Friday. I'm not going to do a weigh-in this week. I'm going to wait until the 1 year mark. So let me look at a calendar real quick and just kind of get a ballpark of when that weigh-in's going to be. So I think that I'm going to have to weigh in on November 1st, which is a Monday. That's gonna be awesome. So that'll be the next time I weigh in, will be on November 1st. That'll be my official 1 year weigh in. I'm looking forward to it. uh my big goal is to get down to the lowest I've weighed. I guess I was like 310 is what I weighed at the 9-month mark, after kind of having some craziness go on. I think another thing I'm going to do at the 1 year mark is I think I'm going to retire this scale and get a new one. And so we might have some fluctuation in the weight that the two scales show, but I'm getting sick of this scale and it's unreliable. I feel it like it's unreliable. Uh, I replaced the batteries and it doesn't seem to be working a whole lot better than it was before. Let's see. I want to thank you guys for checking out my broadcast today. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do get subscribed to my channel. We do have a Discord as well. That link for the Discord is down in the description below. And, it's just another place for you guys to ask questions or reach out. Let me know how you're doing on your weight loss, updates, things like that. We have some areas there for recipe meal ideas as well. The best place for what we are eating is also down in the description below. There is a link to a Pinterest board that has a bunch of the meals that we eat on there. I mentioned the chickpea tikka masala. There is a peanut butter miso that we really enjoy. I believe there's also some other recipes on there that we really enjoy as well. So if you want to check those out, make sure that you check those out. If you guys haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's no reason to wait. The whatever you got coming up isn't more important than getting your health under control. And so get started right now. Strongly recommend looking into a plant-based diet. Tell somebody you're dieting. That was always a big thing for me. I always kind of was like, oh, I'm going to start it. And then people will notice and, it fades, or people don't notice until a while in either, So tell somebody what you're doing. They might be that accountability that you need. They might push you to succeed, And so I'm going to head out, guys. Thanks again. We will see you tomorrow.